Hey guys, I know I'm kind of late on this one, but I saw Phantom Thread. Written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, the film stars Daniel Day-Lewis as Reynolds Woodcock, a brilliant designer who makes dresses for women of high society, along with his sister Cyril, played by Lesley Manville. While having breakfast at a restaurant out in the countryside, he meets a young woman named Alma, played by Vicky Krieps. The two form a relationship, and soon Woodcock asks Alma to move in with him back in London. But the relationship turns out to be completely different from what Alma had expected, as Woodcock winds up using her as his muse, as inspiration for designing dresses. He becomes emotionally distant and work-obsessed, disconcerting to Alma, who upsets the highly ordered nature of Woodcock's lifestyle. So first, the good. The three main characters are really the only characters that they focus on in this film, and all three actors, Day-Lewis, Manville, and Krieps, all give terrific performances. Now for me, Lesley Manville was really the standout actor in this. I thought she did a wonderful job. I loved her character. I don't know her in anything else. This is the only thing I've seen with her, but I would like to see what else she's done. And Daniel Day-Lewis is Daniel Day-Lewis. The guy disappears into whatever role he's playing, and this is no exception. It is easier, of course, to tell that it is Daniel Day-Lewis because he's not disguising his voice or changing his facial features, but nevertheless, every mannerism, every facial expression, his vocal range, it's all perfectly in line with the character that he's portraying. The direction in the film is also really good. Paul Thomas Anderson is an amazing director, and he's done some really good films like Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, and one of my favorite films of all time, Magnolia. And now for me at least, all of his films, I always feel a sense of discomfort while watching them. And Anderson really does a good job of bringing the audience into the film so that they can feel the discomfort that the characters are feeling, or that they can feel being around characters that they themselves are uncomfortable to be around. And also, even though all of his films are realistic, there's a kind of, the way I like to think about it is, there's an obscure oddity to them that makes them feel abnormal. And that's kind of what I like about him as a director. And then there are the costumes. The movie's about a dressmaker. So if you don't have good costumes, the movie's completely pointless. Fortunately, they actually did a really good job on the costumes. In fact, I'd say that with the exception of the 3 stars' salaries, the entire budget for this film went to the costume department. And it shows. But it's a good thing. All the dresses are beautiful. The wardrobe for the 3 main actors is also really good, with one main exception. One of the outfits that Daniel Day-Lewis winds up putting on is actually kind of ridiculous. But it makes sense. And I will say this about the film, it has a really good sense of humor. But it's really subtle. I mean, they're not telling knock-knock jokes, they're not telling fart jokes here. It's fairly complicated humor. And when this movie wants to be funny, it actually is funny. However, I found this film to be a bit of a bore. It is a slow burn film. Now, I can handle slow burn films. There are some great slow-paced films. Brokeback Mountain is a great film. Moonlight from 2016 is amazing. But what those films had, this film seems to lack, which is substance. And I don't mean in terms of meaning, I mean just in terms of general content. The majority of this film is basically just watching these people live their lives. They go, they eat, they have breakfast, he designs dresses, she models him, they parade those dresses out in front of other people, wash, rinse, repeat. It's just the same thing over and over. Within the first 15 minutes, I got the impression that that was basically what this movie was going to be. And I was pretty much right. Every once in a while you get some scenes here and there that change it up a little bit and give it a little bit more drama, but for the most part, it really is just the same thing over and over, and watching these people live lives. Now don't get me wrong, there are things within the story to like. Woodcock's character is a very obsessive individual who is married to his work. He has this very carefully controlled routine lifestyle that if anything gets thrown off, he becomes extremely agitated because it takes a while for him to get back into that routine. He's very childlike in a lot of ways because he's very stubborn, very obstinate about having his way, and when he doesn't, he gets very moody. He's also extremely antisocial. Now, like I said, he finds women, basically, who fall in love with him, and then he uses them to be his muse for designing dresses. And we see one woman at the beginning who does that and then leaves him. And then later on, when Alma comes into the picture, unlike before, she doesn't just take it. She actively starts to try to throw off his routine, change things up a bit, and he really doesn't like that. So, and in that sense, she's basically a toxin to his homeostasis, both metaphorically and literally. There's actually a scene in the film, spoiler warning, where she actually poisons his tea with mushrooms in order to make him sick so that he'll stop working, he'll relax a bit, and she can take care of him. And it's one of the better scenes in the film because it shows how, it starts to hint at how he needs her the way she is. And then Cyril, his sister, acts more like a mother to him, being the supportive one, trying to be understanding and accepting of the way he is. And when Alma comes into the picture and starts throwing off his routine, she starts to respect that and then actively promotes it. I think the ending is probably what's going to make or break this film for a lot of people. When I saw it, I didn't really have any strong feelings for it, but after mulling it over for a few days, I honestly think I don't like it. I think there's a change in personality that happens too quickly, and I think there were other things they could have done to make it feel a bit more natural. I might see it again just so that I can solidify my feelings towards the film. Overall, I'd say the film is good, not great. I didn't find it very entertaining, but I can appreciate it for the art house piece that it is. Overall, I'd give the score a 7 out of 10. The movie, in terms of pacing, is a bit of a sloth to sit through, but is rescued by some terrific acting and directing and some great costume design. And that's what I got. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.